everyone. We'll wait just a second here and then get going. Hello. Welcome to Glossy's weekly beauty debrief here on LinkedIn. I'm Lexi Lebsack, our West Coast correspondent here at Glossy, and I'm here with Tatiana Pyle, our managing editor, Emily Jensen, our senior reporter, and Courtney Marabella, Glossy's social media and audience manager. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm sure we'll get a lot more listeners sort of trickling in, but we only have 30 minutes, so definitely want to get started. Today, we're going to be talking about Amazon Prime Days, which is happening right now. And unless you've been sort of avoiding the internet, you probably know that shoppers are online talking about how they are getting discounted goods, including lots of beauty and wellness offerings. All the websites are covering it. It is definitely a big conversation right now. Amazon has been running this yearly Prime Day sale for about a decade now, and this year is estimated to be its biggest yet. So before we kind of jump in, we want to talk about how brands are approaching this sale and sort of what's going on in the market. But first, I have a little bit of data that I want to go through. So I have some data predictions compared to last year, and then I have some preliminary data from this year to share as well. So Reuters reported that shoppers this year are likely to spend roughly $14 billion during the two-day shopping event that is Amazon's Prime Days. Spending on Amazon could rise upwards of 10% from Prime Day 2023. And last year, shoppers spent $12.7 billion during Prime Day, which was actually like a really big jump from the 2022 numbers, a 6% increase. However, we're not totally seeing these numbers play out just yet. So Salesforce has reported that as of about halfway through yesterday, the global sales for non-Amazon retailers were pretty flat year over year. So growing at just 1%. However, North America is seeing the biggest lift, growing at 9% so far. But of course, these are just those preliminary numbers. But we are seeing that things are looking slightly flat here. So, however, I will say that they also reported that discount rates are a lot more enticing this year compared to last year. Global discounts are up 12% year over year. And of course, we know with inflation, these numbers are very appealing to shoppers. US discounts are up 19% year over year for an average discount of about 25%. So let's get going and talk a little bit about how some of these numbers and some of what's going on at Amazon is impacting the beauty industry. And I think it would be really nice to kind of see if this 25% sale average is sort of actually stacking up to what's happening right now. So let's start with a little bit of context as to what these discounts look like, which brands are participating, and how they're marketing their sales. Tatiana, I know you looked into this. Can you walk us through sort of what you found around this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so fascinating this year because previously or historically, where I've seen a lot of brands marketing their Amazon Prime deals and sales have been through email listservs, their own marketing on their pages. But this year, it really seems to have taken a turn, and a lot of brands are leaning on user-generated content to advocate for their sales. So I've been seeing a ton of TikTok users doing their sales hauls where they're tagging different brands or they're doing sales around specific brands. For instance, if anyone is a fan of Summer House, I saw a few of those cast members do hauls around certain beauty brands. So one of them was Elemis, and she did what she's buying for Prime Day. So I think this year brands are really leaning into what users are speaking about, what users are brand ambassadors, and getting them to talk about their hauls, which has historically proven to be a pretty good strategy for brands. And what I found really interesting to add to the data that you found, Lexi, was that of the top performing verticals, makeup is actually leading that category, and it's up 19% year over year. So people are very clearly interested in buying makeup on sale, maybe from brands that they once was out of their price range and now is getting discounted, or they're looking to experiment with new products. And some of the products that are rarely on sale, that are on sale this year, are brands, heritage brands like Pink, for example. Moroccan Oil is on sale. La Roche-Posay is on sale, which is another prestige, really popular brand. And that one in particular is normally $40, and it's on sale right now for roughly $28, which is a pretty good deal.
That is a good deal. I have to admit that when I was looking at some of these sales yesterday, I did buy a few things. I'm not like a huge shopper, but I saw the La Roche-Posay sunscreens on sale, and I bought a mineral one, and I was like, oh, this is a really good deal. And then I also got looped into, or I guess pulled into trying the CosRx snail mucin like hydrating spray, which I feel like I've seen quite a bit online, and that one was like targeting me on Amazon, and I've seen so many people talk about it, and it was so cheap. So some of these sales they're really, really good. Tatiana, what would you say sort of like is the most surprising thing that you saw when you were looking into this?
I think what I saw from just looking from the Amazon Associates back-end dashboard is that a lot of prestige or luxury brands are really leaning in to the sale this year. So I wouldn't have expected a brand like Clinique to really participate in the sale, or a brand like Color Wow, which is known for its heat protectant spray, to really lean into these sales and as deeply discounted as they are. So I think brands are really experimenting with their Amazon storefronts for Amazon Prime Day and seeing which products are resonating with consumers, and will probably use that data as they move forward in expanding their assortment on Amazon.
That's a really good call out. And then I know that your background noise is not your fault, but your background noise got a little loud for a second. Take us back for 1 second. You said that there were a lot of like brand ambassadors and like influencers, and that's how brands were marketing a lot of the products. Is that what you said?
Yep. I hope that you all can hear me now. The music is going in and out. But what I was saying was what I've been seeing personally, and as a difference from years prior, is that a lot of brands are really leaning on their ambassadors and user-generated content, more specifically through calls and get ready with me's, as you know, these big TikTok influencers are talking about what products they're looking to purchase this year, as well as having their own Amazon storefronts and really advocating for specific deals. For example, I know Alex Earl worked with Amazon this year around the campaign for Prime Day, where she has her own storefront, her own special links where people can go and get an additional deal on top of what's already available for Prime Day.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a really fascinating side of things, and I feel like makes a lot of sense for brands. It's so crazy to me how Amazon in just a few short years has become this place where, you know, has gone from this place where like beauty brands and even influencers kind of wouldn't like be caught dead. They wouldn't be on there talking about Amazon and, you know, selling their luxury products on Amazon. But yeah, things have changed so much. We've seen so many more beauty brands, especially high-end beauty brands in the, you know, higher end of mass or in the prestige or luxury categories joining Amazon. Emily, I know you looked into this a bit. What can you tell us about the growth of these beauty brands, some of which that Tatiana mentioned, that are on Amazon, and sort of how they're approaching the sale?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like Amazon, until relatively recently, it wasn't something that you would think of as a place to buy like beauty products, specifically like premium or luxury brands. You know, the interface of Amazon didn't really match that kind of luxury buying experience. You know, brands maybe didn't want their products grouped in with like household cleaning supplies or electronics, you know, those kinds of things that people are maybe already more strongly associating with Amazon. But especially this year, like in the past 6 months, Amazon has become something that beauty brands really can't afford to not be on in some cases. There were a couple of smaller brands, you know, that have joined recently, like Scarlett Johansson's The Outset skincare brand. I've seen the luxury deodorant body care brand Corpus is on there. A slightly earlier entrant last year was Lancôme, the L'Oreal-owned brand. But this year, I think we saw two really big brands join. one of which was another L'Oreal owned brand, that's Kiehl's, which joined in May of this year. And then a really big shift, Clinique, joined in March, and that was the first of the Estee Lauder brands to join Amazon. Too Faced, the makeup brand owned by Estee Lauder, also joined in June this year. And I think this is, it's a really big get for Amazon to have these, in part because Amazon is trying to shift more into the luxury market, is what we've seen. So having these more kind of premium beauty brands there is, I think, a big boon to them. And Amazon now, it's kind of hitting you on both ends. It's like taking over at the mass level as well. According to a report by Morgan Stanley, actually, they found that Amazon will overtake Walmart as the country's top beauty retailer by 2025, equaling 14.5% of the overall market share. So that's huge for Amazon, and that really points to why these brands almost need to be on there. Their consumers are already on there, already looking for their brands on Amazon. So now having an official storefront is, just helping them kind of divert that traffic to them directly. And Amazon as well, is moving more to a luxury space. Like we saw this last week, Saks acquired Neiman Marcus for $2.6 billion. And Amazon has a part of this deal. It's not totally clear exactly how Amazon will play into this, but it's a big win for Amazon to have more of a foothold in that kind of luxury consumer space.
Wow. It's crazy. It's exactly what you're saying, where it's like, I feel like Amazon is just completely changing what they're doing right now and how they're approaching beauty brands and how they're approaching the sale of all of these lines. So fascinating. So obviously, like, if you're a retailer or if you're a brand, and you're, or I guess if you're a retailer as well, but if you're a brand and you're, sort of like in that Walmart category and you're potentially fighting for sales with all of these other sort of like mass and masstige brands, it makes a lot of sense for you to join Amazon. But do we know if there are other, like, or I guess maybe, I know, Emily, you kind of mentioned some of these, but what would you say maybe like the main reason? And of course we don't know, but what's like the main reason that a brand like Lancome or Clinique would join? Is it just to become like sort of meet the shopper where they are, or is there something like a little bit more beneficial to it that you found at least?
I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, part of it is that up until a couple of years ago, or even earlier this year, it was kind of seen as potentially diluting your brand to be on Amazon. If you were this more premium brand, Amazon has certain negative associations for good reason. Like, the fact that it has all of these Prime Day or Prime, fast shipping, sometimes relies upon exploiting its workers. That's not something that these brands maybe want to be associated with. But that said, so for certain beauty brands, like, their products were already on Amazon. They were just being sold through like the gray market or through unauthorized retailers. And that means that perhaps those were counterfeit products, or, that they weren't verified products. And if consumers are purchasing those, that might, also dilute how the brand is viewed. And Amazon is not really going to help you get those third-party or gray market retailers off of their site if you're not also buying in to be part of the Amazon family. So for them, that's a big reason to join, so that they can simply control that shopping that's already happening on Amazon. And if you're searching for, let's say, like a specific product from a brand and you're not sold on Amazon, Amazon might direct you to one of your competitors who's already there already. So that's another reason for them maybe to join. I think now as well, like, I'm curious to see what will happen, that we've seen like Lancome join, Clinique, Kiehl's. I'm guessing that might open like a floodgates for more brands to now join, to say like, okay, well, if Kiehl's is there, I can be there as well. And what I've seen too with these kind of storefronts, they have like, for brands like Corpus, which is this more premium body care brand, if you look at their Amazon storefront, it looks like a more upscale experience. It doesn't look like the kind of typical messy Amazon interface. Or if you look at the Clinique storefront at Amazon, there's an option as well to interact with a Clinique advisor to help you get skincare recommendations. So there's more kind of add-ons as well, besides just the consumer is purchasing it directly, through the brand.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. I know that when you join and you become part of like the premium sort of like category with Amazon, you are, of course, giving a percentage of your sales to Amazon, but then you're also able to get all of those third-party ads that are selling your product sort of cleaned up, or at least Amazon will help you get those cleaned up a bit. And then when a brand or a seller rather goes on and says like, oh, I have this like Lancome product to sell, like you can't actually like sell it because, you know, Lancome has become part of the sort of like Amazon family and now controls all of the listings under that brand, which, yeah, I mean, exactly like you're saying, Emily, like those are such great points you're making here. But I am curious, Emily, how are sort of some of these like holdout brands, we would say, you know, the ones that joined late, the Clinique, the Kiehl's, are they sort of like taking to their marketing channels and promoting Prime Days, or is this more of like something that's happening like in the background for their marketing endeavors?
You know, weirdly, I don't see a lot of promotion with what they're doing with Prime Day. I mean, they are participating. Like if you go on to the Clinique, you know, page on, you know, today for Prime Day, you see some of like their big products discounted, like the, you know, Black Honey lipstick, their Moisture Surge moisturizer. You see like pretty typical, I think, discounts in the range of like 15 to 30% on those. But I don't see them hugely promoting it on social media. Like, I saw Clinique, you know, they shared some Instagram reels of like other influencers kind of talking about the Prime Day deals. But on their own, you know, social pages, I don't see a lot of promotion of this. They're still kind of just promoting, you know, new products. I see some mentions of like products at Sephora, for example. But, you know, maybe they don't really need to promote Prime Day in a way. Like if you just search for like Clinique Prime Day or Kiehl's Prime Day, you see so many other outlets already talking about this. Like now that you're on Amazon, that means you also get to be part of like all of these roundups from the publications like Allure or Elle or GQ, who are talking about, you know, the best things to buy on Amazon Prime Day, the best skincare deals, the best beauty deals. You can be part of those affiliate programs for those sites that are directing people to Amazon. So my guess is that you don't really need to promote it because everyone else is doing it for you already.
Yeah, that's so true. You really don't. It's just kind of like being there for the shoppers who are, you know, have Prime Day in their mind and are definitely going to be hitting those sales. And of course, like Emily's mentioning, we know exactly that so many of the publications, especially the legacy publications and the digital independent publications, they're all driving so much revenue from their affiliate programs. And if you talk to people in the industry, I feel like people almost think like the market editors of the past have sort of been replaced by the commerce editors, which are normally more junior positions and are able to kind of like aggregate all of these sales and these shopping things that are happening online into these really powerful optimized listicles that, of course, I was shopping through again this week during the research as well. So interesting. Okay, wait, Emily, do you have any other information on the Neiman Marcus Saks thing? It's so fascinating. Like, are we going to be ordering stuff from these high-end, like, retailers and getting them from Amazon distribution? Like, I feel like that's maybe the future. I know that's sort of what's happening with Shopbop a bit. I saw that they were, you know, had a little promo on their homepage this week to link your Amazon Prime account to your Shopbop account for faster shipping and discounts. And of course, we know Shopbop has been owned by Amazon since like 2006 or something, so a very long time. But yeah, Emily, curious if anything else, or what your predictions are if you don't know anything else about the Neiman Saks thing.
Yeah, there haven't been specifics that I've seen from either Amazon or Saks or Neiman, but I was speaking with an investor today, just, you know, on this topic for another piece I was working on, and we were speaking about this a little bit. And I think what Amazon is really, really good at, that I would imagine Saks and Neiman want a piece of, is Amazon is just really good at moving product around and getting product to consumers. As anyone who's ever shopped there knows, it's so seamless to buy something on Amazon. It shows up on your doorstep right away. It's very easy to return if you need to return it. So I think that kind of logistics is going to be really key for Saks and Neiman, you know, to sort of reach online consumers in a more seamless way that will keep them coming back. But what's also interesting we talked about is like, you know, what Amazon is getting out of the deal is both like access to this luxury consumer, but also potentially just data. I mean, Amazon is also a huge search engine And that is really valuable for the platform to know what people are searching for. How are people searching for it? What terms are they using? What brands are they looking for? And so potentially having access then to what people are looking for on Saks and Neiman could also really help them, understand how to better serve these luxury consumers. So I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Amazon did open I don't know if anyone remembers this, a clothing store in 2022. I completely forgot about this. Was just
I remember this.
Yes, they had some in California, like Amazon style, but it didn't work. So Amazon hasn't really had like a great presence in like brick and mortar as far as like fashion and beauty goes. So I'm curious if maybe there'll be some element to that with Saks as well.
Oh, fascinating. Yeah, there were also some Amazon grocery stores here that were sort of like competing with Walmart, I want to say. Like they're more like super center kind of places. I remember driving by them, but I don't know if those still exist either. I feel like maybe that was also an experiment that didn't go so great. So interesting. Well, there is one other thing. I know we're nearing sort of the last few minutes here, but I know there was one other thing that I wanted to call out in researching this segment. All of us came across so many listicles of products on sale and what to buy, but then there's also sort of this other side of things, and that's sort of what I'm calling like counter sales that are happening right now. There is definitely this growing sale trend happening right now that targets what people are calling the never Amazon consumer, people who are not interested in shopping on Amazon and don't have Amazon accounts. And it's really all about this like July sale marketing that's providing competition to Amazon. Most sales similar to Amazon are close to 20% off or more, and the dates are all very closely aligned with the Amazon sale. So a lot of them are ending tonight, and the sale trend is also really growing across categories. So, for example, in some research I did this year, bedding, home, and tech is having a really big moment with the sales trend. So Best Buy is calling their sale Black Friday in July, and it's aligned with the Amazon dates ending today. And then there's also trendy home brands like Casper Mattress is 30% off until tonight. Caraway Pans, which is a trendy brand on Instagram selling kitchen items, 20% off on a lot of different items. In the fashion world, Everlane and Urban Outfitters are also doing this sort of July sale. Nordstrom anniversary sales going on right now, and Target is also having a 2-day sale, also providing a little bit of competition to Amazon. But I will say that in terms of taking this back to the beauty sector, the biggest sort of counter Amazon beauty sales that I'll mention right now are happening at Ulta Beauty and Dermstore. Both retailers are sort of using the same playbook right now to sort of grow their loyalty rewards programs. So that's very, very clear when you're looking at these sales. They look pretty similar. Sign up for the rewards program. So at Ulta Beauty, that's the beauty rewards. At Dermstore, it's just called rewards. And when you do sign up for these, you can unlock the discounts. Dermstore's ends today, right along with the Amazon sale, but Ulta's goes through the end of the week, and the sales prices are 25% off at Dermstore plus 5% back for like rewards, which is like very good, especially on some of these like higher priced derm products. And then Ulta, the discounts are all based on loyalty status, so it's like between like 10 and 20% off. So a great thing to call out for any brands that don't want to participate in the Amazon Prime days, but they do want to like be part of the conversation right now around sales and all of the sort of attention that's going towards sales right now. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Alexia, I wanted to add really quickly that Soko Glam, which is a really popular Korean beauty marketplace, is also having a sale for this week only. And I think right now, at a time where Korean beauty and skincare is extremely popular, it is such a strategic move. Their sale is very similar to Sephora VIPs, where you spend a certain amount and you get a discount off of that amount.
Oh, I love that. And it's, I think it's really smart too. It's so smart for these beauty retailers to be having a sale right now, because it's like, why wouldn't you? Especially if some of the products that people are searching for didn't go on sale. Of course, there is like a little bit of mystery around the Amazon Prime days. I was on Reddit yesterday kind of seeing what people are talking about. And I think the most negative feedback around the Amazon Prime days is that people are disappointed when they fill their cart or they fill their wish list, and then they kind of wait for these Amazon Prime days only to see that a lot of the products in their cart didn't actually go down. So these competing sales, I think, are so smart for brands to kind of participate in. I think I will call out what I sort of think is like one of the stronger sales, and that was the Derm Store sale. And I think that one was really strong and had a good strategy because it started early. So it started on 7-Eleven a few days before. And so it kind of gave shoppers time to do their shopping. It's a 25% off. So it's a pretty solid discount. That's very comparable to the Amazon one. And the only thing that I would say was sort of bad about that sale is that there seems to be like a tech lag, which I think brands should be just super aware of how it can kind of throw off their sales numbers. But basically, if you're not already part of the Derm Store membership program, it can take up to 24 hours after subscribing for you to actually get your access code. So they, on their website, are like, be patient, it's worth it. But of course, I would say that that's something that brands can do a little bit better at. And then I have just one more thing that I was hoping to kind of pop in here at the end, and that is just a little bit about how there is some sort of Amazon controversy happening right now. There's been a fair amount of reporting out there, reporting around some issues that consumers should sort of be aware of, and of course that comes back to the brands, because it's possible for consumers to be messaging the brands, be unhappy with the brands around some of their experiences on Amazon. But basically, brands and retailers, according to the Associated Press, should be very wary this year about scams attempted against shoppers, which they say grow pretty significantly during these big sale events. So it's really important for brands to have a customer service plan in place. The Better Business Bureau came out and said that this pretty much looks like phishing attempts, lookalike websites, too good to be true social media ads, unsolicited emails or calls from Amazon. And of course, that's more of an Amazon problem and less of a brand problem. However, this can always come back to the brand in so many different ways. And then, of course, there's also counterfeit products and fake reviews that brands should be super aware of, and that the Amazon team says increase during sales times. So in 2022, the company said that more than 6 million counterfeit items were identified and disposed of. And then the same year, 2022, the company Amazon blocked over 200 million suspected fake reviews as well. So, of course, we know that these are issues that can eventually reach the brand, that brands should just sort of be aware of during the sales time. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank everyone for tuning in and listening. Tati and Emily, such great insights. That was really, really helpful and so interesting. And now I just can't wait for my Amazon packages to arrive. And we'll have another great conversation next week. We're going to be bringing you guys a sort of deep dive and a look into a podcast episode that's coming out next week that we're all very excited about. So please tune in, and we will see everyone next week. Thanks so much.